And we are live on the Icecast Live. Welcome all, and welcome my co-host, Ollie McMonee. How you doing, Ollie?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. It's been a strange day. I won't
A
go into
strange
all the...
day.
It has
Okay.
been. I won't go into all the gory details because for personal reasons, it's been a
Yeah, of
strange day.
course.
And it's been a bit topsy-turvy. And as I was saying offline earlier, I'm in the mood tonight for a nice relaxed stream,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
nice relaxing chat. The only thing is we have got
A lot of people.
4 guests. So it could go any way. It depends what these guys are like. I don't know all of these guys. I haven't met them. We could have a chatterbox, or we could have a bunch of people who don't like to talk, but I'm getting the impression that we've got a nice, measured, nice varied group of people on the stream tonight. And how are you, mate? Are you all right?
Very good, very good. Just going very well. I've been working heavily on the comiccon.com website today, putting a few exclusives up over the next few days. There's some pretty big comics, and some really good news that I can't share at the moment came my way. But I'll tell you offline later. Yeah.
All right then, mate.
It's really exciting. Really exciting. Yeah.
I'm excited for you. That sounds really. I can't wait to find out what it's all about.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you offline in confidence, but I can't say anything yet.
I've been busy all promoting my comic. Obviously, we've got Hedrick, Night of the Mummers Kickstarter on at the moment, which is doing well. But obviously, we're always looking for more people to come along.
And how much further has that got to go?
We're about a third of the way through, but we only launched a week ago, so there's a bit of work to be done. But it's going really well. And I mean, just the work that Dave Hitchcock has done on it. We did our launch last week, so most regular Icecast listeners and viewers will have seen that, I would guess. But it's beautiful artwork. It really is, and Lawrence's story is just fantastic. I'm really excited to be doing this book. It's, that's occupying
something
a lot of my time.
Something worth bringing up in the last week, because I just remembered today to book Liam Sharp's next art book, his Silver Encore book, and that was with 4 days to go, and I would have been absolutely gutted if I'd missed out, because I noticed that not as many people have backed this second one as they did the first. And I think if you've got the first, why wouldn't you back the second? There's a third one coming. That's a finite investment then. So again, with Hedrick, just try and remind people whether on here or we'll do something on comiccon.com just to let people know.
Yeah, it's always a shame if people miss out, isn't it? And
and
Liam said, I noticed that he noticed there were less people picking it up. But I think, is that campaign finished now then, Liam?
It's got 4 weeks. 4 days to go.
4 days. Right.
So it will be over and done with by Sunday.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit of a completist. Now, I imagine a lot of comic book fans are completists. Yeah. I worry that maybe because Liam's had a lot of delays and he's explained it entirely well enough for me to think I'm happy to back any other project. Yeah. Maybe people are getting cold feet over the second one. I hope not, because it's, even not having received the first book yet, it's stunning. And I know COVID's hit. I know that was Liam's first Kickstarter. Give the man a break.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be worth the wait. The book looks absolutely beautiful, and the second book, equally looks lovely. In fact, I think I probably prefer a lot of that because I really like Liam's black and white stuff. And there's a lot of his it is more of his black and white work.
It is a lot more, I
love that stuff. I like black and white comics, so I'm going to prefer his black and white stuff. But I just love his line, and you can see it more because there's less rendering and coloring and paint.
Yeah.
So you can see his line. It's really, really nice. So, I mean, I'm a bit tempted myself, to be honest.
For me, I mean, we've mentioned it for me, I mean, I can't back every Kickstarter I like.
No, you can't.
For me, it's that quality over quantity. I went big on his first one. I got the one with which comes with a free page of Green Lantern art, because I absolutely love that run. So no matter what bit of Green Lantern page I get, I know I'm going to love it. Do you know what I mean? But I've just gone for the book this time round because I can't be Billy Big Boots all the time.
Indeed. So tonight on the show, we are going to be welcoming, as I say, 4 guests. One of them I just seen slip out of the studio. So I'm hoping that he's going to be back momentarily because he's got all the art. So we're welcoming John Charles, who is the creator of TECHNOFREAK, which at the moment, I think, is serializing in Shift. Is that right?
Well, I don't know. I know that their Kickstarter for the first one was successful, issue number 1. So I'm assuming at some point, and I dare say we'll get them off it today, when their next Kickstarter will be.
Yeah, definitely. So not only have we got John, we've also got Antonio, Mike, and Rob. So we've got a big chunk of the creative team there.
Big chunk.
I'm looking forward to talking to them all, finding out what they do, finding out about the book. I mean, I've been aware of TECHNOFREAK for a while, actually, because John sort of brought it to my attention years ago when I was sort of like scouting for stuff for another big publisher. It was an unofficial post, you could say, and they were asking me to, scout for them, and TECHNOFREAK was one of the things that I looked at. And John brought it to me, and I think I did put it forward. And I remember thinking, that looks like a lot of fun. And it's been interesting to see it develop, over the years into what it is now, which it looks like a very successful indie book. So I suppose without any further ado,
best dad.
Let's play that VT and get on with it, shall we all?
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, I clicked out there, didn't I? For the first half of the show, for the first section of the show, I didn't even realise I hadn't got my mic plugged in. So I do apologise. My vocal was a bit tinny, scratchy. You should be able to hear me a lot better now. I just plugged it in playing. So welcome everybody. Nice guy.
Hello.
It's nice to see you all. All those lovely faces. And how are we doing this evening? John, how are you, mate?
I'm all right. I'm not nervous at all.
Yeah. I can see you fiddling around there. You're trying to work everything out.
I logged in rather foolishly. Perhaps I didn't need to, but never mind.
Oh, what were you logging into?
I don't know. This.
Well, you're here now.
Yeah, there's a comment. Ben Cullis has said, "Good evening, TECHNOFREAKs." Hello, Ben. How are you?
I will bring that onto the screen. John's trying to do my job for me tonight. I think he's going to.
Will he cock up as often as you do then?
Yeah. Well, we'll find out momentarily. Evening, Ben. How you doing, mate? You all right? So tonight we're going to be talking about TECHNOFREAK, and you brought some rapscallions with you, haven't you, John?
Yes, TECHNOFREAK is a team. It's not just me at all.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, our main artist, Tom Newell, can't be with us, but we've got Mike Walters with us, although I can't see him at the moment. He's just returning.
Just showed off how long his room is.
Yeah.
That's a huge room.
Mike's drawn a backup strip in TECHNOFREAK 4, which should be out towards the end of April. We're running an Indiegogo campaign at the moment. If you can stick the link in the comments for me, that would be brilliant, because I can't seem to do it.
You're asking too much of me, John. Sam's not here. He does all that stuff. Stick links in comments.
We'll get it shared at some point. Issue number 4. I've got it up. We'll share it together in a bit, Shane.
Well, if people want to go to Indiegogo and search for TECHNOFREAK, that'll work.
There you go.
Okay, we've also got Rob Jones, who's lettered issue 4 on an emergency basis. He did an absolutely stunning job. I'm really pleased with his work. And Antonio Valjean, who's drawn a couple of things for TECHNOFREAK and also made some amazing 3D models.
Yeah,
including this Maurice cat.
Thank you.
No,
everyone loves the cat, and this is a 3D model that Antonio made in his computer and printed it out. He'll show you a bit later. He's got a sculpture of John Sherlock that he's painted as well. That's absolutely marvellous. At the moment, it's the only one in the world.
Ooh.
And he's got it.
It did look cool. I had a little sneak peek at it earlier on before the show started, and I did really like it, I have to say. We've had a comment already. Andy Hayes, seriously thinking of backing this. I enjoyed the episodes featured in the 77.
Good. Yes, well, Antonio drew the one that was in the annual.
Yeah, that's sorry, I forgot to tell you that. Actually, I'm the artist from the annual. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So cool.
I forgot. Sorry, John, but I forgot to tell that.
I forget nothing. He lied.
So, guys, I have to ask. I'll ask you first, Antonio. What's John like to work with?
Good question. No, John is is a full artist. I think he's very, at least for me, it's really easy to work with him. He's quite easygoing, and but mainly he loves his characters. He really loves his characters, and but it's been really a nice ride with John. We met I don't know, John, 3 years ago on Thought Bubble.
Yeah,
and right. we didn't even know that we were actually neighbors, practically. Yes, so we had a friend in common, and then we didn't have immediately we talked a bit, but then it was my friend that was friend of both. But then we started to meet each other here, and it was and for me it's been really nice to work with John and sharing and actually being able to be part of his comic. And now I'm always giving him input, and I think it's a great comic. The number 4, I think you guys won't regret it. I just saw a few of the pages, and I think it's even better than the other ones. But yeah, John is it's not doesn't have bad tempo. It's really
you got to say that.
Apart from
I'm evil.
Yeah, exactly. It's a mastermind, evil mastermind.
I only make people change things if they're wrong.
You're always right, John.
So I think we can share. Ollie, you got that screen?
I've got the Indigo. I've got the Indigo up. I know John's going to share the video later.
So there we go. That's the campaign.
There's the campaign.
So we're at 626. We've got 24 days to go. We need more money, I'm afraid. I could go all Bob Geldof on you, but I probably shouldn't.
Give me your fucking money. Yeah. I'll do it for you, mate. Yeah. You can swear on this podcast, by the way. It's all right.
Oh, awesome.
If you want to do a Bob Geldof, you're all right. So what goodies, while we're on the screen then, talk us through it, John. What goodies can people expect?
Well, the top thing is the original art, which you can see there in black and white, which is a poster that Tom Neill did for me. Which is lush. I've coloured it as well. There is a coloured version of there somewhere down in the text.
I will go and get that. Find that.
I think there is anyway. It's been a while since I've looked at this.
I think I did see.
Oh, there's the top back, the thing in black and white.
Black and white.
So no one's bought that yet, and if they want to, they're more than welcome. I could get Tom to sign it and everything.
Lovely.
Then you've got your painted John Sherlock figure, which is with Antonio at the moment. He'll show you that.
That picture is not perfect, but yeah.
So I can't remember how many we've limited that to, but Antonio's got to hand paint them, and he said he would. So
yeah. Tied into that now, Antonio.
Oh, it's Morris the cat you were talking about just previously.
Yeah, everybody loves that cat except for me. I'm getting a bit sick of him.
Well, that now you're sick of him. He's your character, and you're sick of him. You know he's going to be the most popuper character.
This is exactly what's happened. It's like every time he walks into a scene, he steals the scene and takes the piss and stuff. And the comic's supposed to be a comedy, so I suppose it's fair enough.
Well,
there's the poster in colour. We'll be doing posters as a reward level. A lot of the rewards are in sort of bundles, so you get the poster, but you'll also get the comic. There's one reward level where you can buy all the back issues in one go. There's an example.
I wanted to ask that so people can catch up, because this is on issue 4, obviously. So
there's 2 ways to catch up: either back the Indiegogo and get that reward level, or you can go to sundaylunchcomics.com and just buy them straight.
Got you. Excellent.
So there's lots of rewards. The basic one's the comic in digital form and stuff. And we've even done the comic as cheap as we possibly can. without any extra, because I view these things slightly as a donation to a cause. So there's the one with no donation. So it's £3 plus your postage and packing. And that is cost price virtually.
That's very good. Seen as the
that's really cheap.
$3.99.
Yeah.
So
it's a tough decision to make, isn't it? When you're pricing your books, especially on Kickstarter, you've got a lot to take into account, haven't you? You know, the price of production.
Some people genuinely want to donate to the cause. I've had people donate 30 quid and not want any reward.
Really?
And I've insisted they get a comic because I'm not having that.
Yeah. But, actually, I had that with I had that with Dead by Dawn. John Wagner kindly donated. I can't remember how much it was. It was a reasonable amount. And I said, well, at least let me send you a book. And he says, I'll never read it. You know.
At least he's honest.
Yeah, I love it. I love John's honesty. It's fantastic.
That's a good backer to have, isn't it? John Wagner. I'm impressed.
He's name dropping now, isn't he? Wait until he mentions Charlie Adlard.
I'll try not to, all right? I'll try and get through a stream without mentioning any of my comics pals. Yeah.
You're
all my comics pals. You're my comics pals as well. There you go. You're all just as important as each other.
Good save, Shane. Good save.
So let's talk to some of the other guys in the stream. Mike,
can you tell us a little?
Yeah, we have to. Yes, I'm sorry.
Is that the deal? Okay.
Mike, can you tell us a little bit about what you do in the book and what your background is, mate?
Well, in this particular, I'm echoing here. I feel like I am.
We can hear you.
No. Okay. All right. I thought I could hear feedback of myself. And in this particular book, I do a backup story. It's not really a backup because John keeps telling me that it comes first in the issue, which is really weird. But but so it's front up. I don't know what you want to call it.
Supporting story.
Yeah. Prologue would be the better name for it. But yeah, so that's like a backup kind of story, and I'm good friends with Tom, who drew the bulk of the book, and I don't know, I just wanted to. I thought it looked fun, so I said to John, "Have you got any story that I could possibly do in any issue, whether it's in this or the 77 or anything?" And he drew me this. It took me ages to do it because I'm terrible, but
selling yourself there, Mike.
No, half of it is because I'm really busy. I've got my own comic on the go at the minute, and since October, I've been drawing, inking, and coloring 5 pages a week.
Which
is suicide.
Mike is now a professional comic artist. He's being very shy about what he does for a living, but he draws comics for a living. And he's making a living doing it, which is incredible in this day.
It's admirable. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy to do that. So
he was a student at Staffs University. I used to teach Mike, and now I learn things from him as well. So it's all good.
So he's gone from the Padawan to the Master.
Yeah, well, that's very true of Tom Newell. I'm so jealous of Tom Newell's art style. But one day
you could say that I'm Darth Vader in Star Wars Episode 4. I was the learner and now I'm the master. No,
got another little comment. So Sophie Good, hi Sophie. Hi guys, this is a lot of talent for one Icecast. It is. We're bursting at the seams with talent here, guys. Yeah.
Stick around for the striptease later on. No.
John Burdis. Hey John, how you doing, mate? Already paid up for issue 4 and looking forward to it when it drops. Keep up the great work, Techno team.
Thank you, John. You're a star. Yeah. I've known John Burdis for quite a long time. He's a great bloke.
He is a good chap, isn't he? It's always good, isn't it, though, John, when you get some feedback like that. I don't know about you, but creating books, sometimes it can be quite an isolated experience. But when you have a team around you, that helps. But also when you get that little bits of feedback from people who've read the books, it can be a real boost, can't it?
Absolutely. I mean, I love, we've got a few very hardcore fans. Guy called Matthew Fisher and another one, Matthew Ward. They've virtually become friends. Well, I regard them as friends, and they are TECHNOFREAK fans.
That's nice.
it is really nice to reach, and they care about the thing. Like Matthew Fisher sent me a backstory for TECHNOFREAK that was actually pretty on the money, but that he'd sort of figured out was probably had happened, and I'm like, yeah, well, you're nearly right, you know. But it was great though that he cared so much. It was like 2 pages of A4, you know. It was really serious.
Yeah. I mean, that's really good. I mean, I think that's the ultimate thing, really, isn't it? If you get like fan mail is one thing, but someone who actually writes a fan story, or you get fan art. Have you ever got that? Have you got fan art?
Yes, we have. Yes, and also I do things with Staff's Uni. Still, I run a project with them, which is the TECHNOFREAK project, and it's voluntary, and not many of them tend to join in, but 3 or 4 join in every year. And I've got some stuff in my slideshow, which I'll show you, that the students have produced. And it comes in these wacky sort of manga-esque styles and things like this, which is, you know, I wouldn't draw that way, but they do, and they do it really well. And I'm happy to promote people who are good, you know?
Yeah, so not people who are shit, though.
I prefer not to, yeah.
I'll get my coat.
Sorry.
No, you're brilliant, Michael. I always knew you had the ability.
That was a veiled compliment then. That sounded a bit like a veiled compliment then, Doc. I always knew you'd get there one day, Mike. I knew you had the ability. So you're talking about a slideshow, so you got something to show us. I'm looking in the studio. It's
yeah, if you want to see the slideshow, that would be cool.
Yeah, if we can put that in the studio, I'll bring it up, mate.
I need to share the screen, yeah?
You do what you did before. Come on, Techno John. You can do it.
I'm not John Sherlock.
And while you're doing that, while you're working all that out, welcome back, Rob Jones.
Hello.
It was with us last week because Rob also has done some stuff for me on Hedrick Night of the Mummers, and he's also doing a fantastic job there as well. I think basically, Rob, you're just one of these guys. You're appearing in every comic everywhere, aren't you? You're omnipresent.
I've had a busy year. You can definitely say that. Yeah, I've had a busy year. Like I said, I think I told you off screen last time. The shotgun approach to comics, widespread. Hope something catches. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Right, I'm going to press share, lads.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Now I'm going to press play.
Oh, hold on. Let me share it first.
Oh, he's eager.
There you go. There you go.
I'm on, am I? So this is just the title screen, but that drawing's one of the first things Tom Newell ever did for me. A sort of reinterpretation of a character that I'd created. He actually moved the eyepiece to the other eye, which sort of I never understood why he did it, but he seems to think it looks better on the left eye.
Well, as long as he does it in every panel.
Yeah, it would be good if he's consistent with it.
That's the thing, isn't it?
This is a little bit of history. That's the first thing I could find in my sketchbook where I actually created TECHNOFREAK, and that's 20 years old.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And I really like the logo, actually. I should have used that logo, but never mind.
I knew the character had been around a while because you told me about him a while ago, but I didn't realise it had been 20 years. That's
yeah, it's gone through some weird iterations along the way, and then things keep changing, and we eventually settled on being a private eye. Yeah, well, exactly. It's moved.
From Sam. I only read comics in Rob Jones letters. That's a lot of comics you've got to read, Sam.
So this is just a Poxy advert, so you can buy issues 1 to 3 from our website. I just thought they are still in print. I've got a few left of issue 1.
Oh, that's nice.
This is a massive spoiler. This is the end of issue 3.
Oh.
I don't know if you can guess who that guy is who's dead, but there we are.
Well, he looks a bit like Ghost Rider, but he's not Ghost Rider, is he?
Yeah. Isn't that a beautiful page?
It is.
That is stunning artwork.
It's a lovely design. The whole layout of that image, it's really, really nice.
I liked it, just the one word as well. I didn't want it to say anything but no in a really quiet whisper.
It's lovely.
I did the colours as well. I love that page. I wanted to do it as a poster, actually.
Do it.
Okay, this is the cover for TECHNOFREAK issue 4.
So this is the latest one that you've actually got on Indiegogo at the moment.
That's right. Well said. I like your attitude. This may or may not go in. I haven't done the pagination yet. This is supposed to be the inside front cover and the first page.
That looks a bit like a Rob Jones design, that does.
It isn't. I wish I could claim that as mine.
Is
it
it
is
that?
not. No, it is not.
Oh, what's he showing it for, Rob? What's he doing?
Anyway, I designed that and I'm rather proud of it, and I will try and
It's
get it.
It's
Did a good
wicked.
job there, mate. Good job.
Here's a page which I think Rob Jones is credited on here.
I hope so.
Otherwise, Rob's leaving this stream in the next.
Going off in a hissy fit.
Now, what I've done, I've tried not to give you too many spoilers here, but it's fairly obvious that a certain character's not actually dead. But there we are. There's an amazing double-page spread from early on by Tom. I couldn't believe it when this dropped in my inbox.
That's lovely.
To draw Hollywood Boulevard, I think it is, isn't it? And I got this back, and I'm like, that is incredible.
So
took
much
a while to
going
colour
on.
that. I can tell you that was a busy one.
Bet. I love what you've done as well with the reflections in the puddles. It's great
Thank
stuff.
you.
Really, really nice.
So here's a couple more pages from TECHNOFREAK 4. I'm going to whiz over these, even though they are beautiful, because you shouldn't be seeing these.
There you go, folks. Exclusive.
This is the infamous spanking scene, which hopefully will make it into print.
That's great.
This is the return of a major villain from an earlier TECHNOFREAK issue. It's coloured by another student who's not here tonight, called Tate, who's absolutely brilliant. First year, would just become a second-year student at Staff's Uni. Came to me and wanted to be an intern. So they've coloured half my comic for free. And they've done the most amazing job. And again, I like to encourage talent, and Tate's talented, so go for it.
Yeah. And why not, especially when it's free?
If you've got another half a comic to colour in, just start giving the students detention. Right.
Your punishment is to colour a page of TECHNOFREAK. Yeah.
Well, save me doing it, won't it? So, this is a page by Mike Newell. Not Newell, sorry, Mike Walters. Sorry, Mike.
Sorry, Mike.
And it's inked by the infamous Lee Townsend, who you may have heard of.
Oh, we know Lee Townsend. Yeah.
I think I did the lettering, which was
I remember talking you through it, John.
Yeah,
I remember we had a little conflab for an hour, didn't we, and stuff. Obviously, you through like the Illustrator processes and stuff.
Absolutely. Otherwise, that word balloon in issue 2 would never have been cut off in the way that it is. I didn't know how to do it until Rob told me.
I mean, talking as one sort of publisher to another, John. It is really important, isn't it? The value of a good letterer.
Absolutely, yeah.
You cannot underestimate the importance of having someone who knows what they're doing on the lettering.
Well, I'm looking at this now and I'm thinking that lettering's a little bit big, but I do that because my eyes aren't very good. So. It is slightly bigger than a standard comic, but then I'm old, so there we go. There's another of Mike's pages which is not lettered. There's
that's very stylish, isn't it?
Oh, you gentlemen.
So what was that? Was that you, Mike?
Yeah, sorry. I've got a very quick lettering story, if I may.
Oh, go for it. We love stories.
So the first ever comic that I got paid for, which was some random guy that I found on Gumtree. That should already, spell warning signs. So I drew this thing, pencil inked it, and it was just black and white. And I sat there really excited. Oh, it's first paid comic and all this. And I didn't do the lettering. I didn't see the lettering until it was printed. And so I come home. It was first year of uni. I come home from uni. My mum says, "Oh, something's come in the post." I was like, "Yeah, it's my comic." I opened the book, and it's the worst lettering I've ever seen in my life. There was speech bubbles in their mouths, like going into their mouths.
Nice.
Yes.
And off the page, and it looked like Comic Sans. And I got a message from the guy that wrote it about an hour after I got home. He's like, "Well, what do you think?" And I was just, cracked my knuckles and typed a very angry message back.
There comes a point, doesn't there, where you can't spare feelings, where you've got to be honest and you've got to tell people when they've completely ruined your work.
And I didn't draw issue 2, let's put it that way.
Oh, mate. Oh, my heart goes out to that one. It really does. Thanks for that.
Just keeping things moving here. Here's another of Mike's pages. I think How many pages are there, Mike? 5 or 6 or something, aren't there?
6, I believe.
Yeah. I'm not showing you them all because you've got to buy the comic.
Yeah.
Definitely. Oh, these look nice.
Yeah, that's by Antonio, who's got the painted one, which I'll show you in a bit, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's incredible 3D modeling. Is it done in ZBrush or ZBrush, as the Americans call it?
You can say both. ZBrush. Well, yes, it's all of it is made in ZBrush. Yeah.
Antonio's a genius. I'm very lucky to have him as a friend.
Fantastic.
You're exaggerating, but yeah. So this model here, actually, we have to go a little bit further with it. Actually, probably the one that we're going to. I was talking to John about it. I wanted to do one that is sitting down, actually, and being more probably sitting down on something like similar to the model that I've shown you before, Shane. Like that one. But to be more, to have a pose more heroic, or at least more, but instead of being a character on, just staying on 4, 4 legs. And I wanted to create a base and everything, so it goes a little bit more.
So it's definitely a work in progress at the moment, then, Antonio.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And I know it's the final piece is going to be sprayed silver as well, isn't it?
This is artwork by Antonio while he's on.
Wow.
Yeah, this is the pages that we did on the 77.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
really
quite nice.
It's got a very fresh style, hasn't it? It's very modern. I love it.
Yeah, and is this coloured by you as well, Antonio, or has John done that?
No, actually, John did a few pages, and it's coloured by a guy called Guillermo Lindeberg. So
right.
I didn't do any colours. It was just Guillermo and a few pages from John.
If you want factual accuracy, I did the one on the left, and Guillermo did the one on the right.
Yeah.
Right. I like your attention to detail, John. We've had another comment, and it's a bit of an epic from John Burdis.
Yeah.
Going back to our comments before, you were right about acknowledgement of your work. A musician, comedian, poet, etc. When you play live, they get instant feedback. For yourselves, you have to wait for your work to hit the shelves and hope that people may post comments online. It must be quite hard to wonder if people are enjoying your hard graft until months down the line. That's a good point, actually. A lot of other creative endeavors, you do get that instant feedback, don't you? If you're on stage, straight away if you're making a mess up of it, because they'll start throwing things at you. But if you're doing a comic, you've got to spend a little bit of money and put it out there, and then the proof is in if anyone buys it. It's a very different sort of way of getting feedback. It's quite challenging.
You're right. Yeah. I'm in a band as well, so I know what you mean, and I love the instantaneous quality of being in a band.
Yeah,
there is nice, sort of instant gratification. This was the first sketch I've done as a reward for someone, and they wanted the Mekon because they collect sketches of the Mekon, and I said, "Can I do TECHNOFREAK as the Mekon?" Which is why you got this.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm actually experimenting with style at the moment, so I was trying to be a bit Bill Sinkovich, which is why I got these splodgy bits on it. So.
I mean, is that something that you're offering then on your rewards? Is it?
Yeah, I will do a sketch for you. I think it's at a fairly high reward level, but if you want a sketch by me, I'm happy to do them. And cool. I will take direction as well. I'm very flexible. I don't do nudity though.
Oh, no nudity. Okay. No. Yeah. Okay.
Shane, you sounded a bit upset then.
Yeah, damn.
You sounded, oh, right, okay. Put my wallet away.
These are something from the future of TECHNOFREAK. These will ultimately be coloured, and they're literally half done at the moment. That's why there's a photograph of a hand instead of a drawing. So I'm experimenting with style at the moment because I've never been satisfied with my style. I want something a bit more gritty, and it's really an odd thing here. I used to tell Mike Waters when he was a student not to do cross-hatching because it was dead. And I was influenced by Neil Adams when I was a kid, and I can't stop doing cross-hatching.
Cross-hatching's a funny thing, isn't it? I mean, I go through stages where I hate it, where I'm determined never to do it. And then other times you can have a lot of fun with it and you can create a lot of textures. I think there's a time and a place for it. And a good artist
a good artist who
knows how to do cross-hatching and, and do it nicely for want of a better expression.
But I don't want to be too meticulous. I want a looseness, to be honest. I want a bit of aggression in the work.
Cross-hatching doesn't allow that so much, does it? If you're cross-hatching, it tends to be more detailed, more meticulous. If you want a loose approach, it's another approach, isn't it? Oh, that's nice. What's that?
This is a piece of student work that I was telling you about earlier by Clara de Rombers. I think I may have pronounced that wrong, but she's actually working on a 5 or 6 page strip for me at the moment that she wrote herself. So again, I'm encouraging the students not just to be artists, but to be writers.
Yeah. It's fantastic what you're doing, John, there. It's great. I love the fact that you're doing that. You know, you're working with these people. Is this still through Staffordshire Uni then, or is it just something you're doing yourself now?
Yeah, it's Staffordshire Uni. I go back as a visiting lecturer. I was there a couple of weeks ago launching the project and sort of spent a day with them, talked a bit about my career and stuff, told them a bit about lettering that Rob Jones had told me 3 days earlier.
Hope you get a hander for that, Rob.
I think you should get Robin to do it next time because I was a bit inept. But then, so this is by Clara as well. This has only come in today.
Right.
She's actually done the lettering herself. There was a slight issue in panel 4 where she had Maurice still speaking, and she solved it in a sort of manga style by putting a little cat head in one of the balloons, so you know it's still him.
Problem solving. That I love to see that in storytelling. Problem solving. You know, that's what doing a comic is sometimes, isn't it? It's solving a problem of how do I get this story across. And I love how.
And again, you've got this wild colouring. You know, it's just crazy, but I love it. It's so fresh.
It works. It works. You know,
and a radically different style. You know, a very sort of cartoon style.
It's totally her own. That's the beauty of it.
This is by Tate, who did the colouring in issue 4, or some of the colouring in issue 4. This is a pin-up. I think we've had this printed in the American edition of TECHNOFREAK, which I should probably mention, from American Mythology Publications. We got picked up by them, and they've repackaged us in America.
Okay.
Which I'm regarding as a success.
That's really cool.
That's from issue 2, I think, on the back cover. It's by Lou Stringer.
Yeah.
I thought I recognised Lou's style.
Yeah, man.
Well, there's a signature bottom left, and there's a gag in every panel. It's absolutely superb, and people love this. Yeah. And again, it's Maurice, and you know, Lou latched onto Maurice, and he's like, he's the character I want to draw. You know.
Yeah. So, well, you can sort of understand for that sort of strip. It's the perfect character, isn't it?
But it shows how flexible the concept is. I mean, I actually quite want to do a serious TECHNOFREAK story that's quite hardcore, but without being dangerous. You know, just more serious. And I think the character would lend itself to doing that sort of thing. It's a bit like Judge Dredd. You can tell any kind of story you want with the character, really. You know?
Yeah.
So
definitely.
These are by a friend of mine called Ian Peterson, who I've known for a long time, at least 20 years. This appeared in one of the American editions. I think it's in issue 3. I'm hoping ultimately to get a graphic novel together and print virtually everything that we've done in a book.
Because that's the thing, isn't it? If you've got an American edition that like doesn't and some of that stuff doesn't appear, you sort of like you get into the stage where you're creating 2 separate markets, aren't you? And are you worried that people are going to say, why can't I get that stuff that's in the American one?
Yeah, you know? And it's true of issue 4 as well. In fact, the UK edition is going to be bigger than the American edition.
Oh well, that's
there wasn't room for Mike's backup strip in the American one, so buy British lads.
Buy British, yeah.
But I think this is beautiful for me, and it's
lovely. I love the colouring. Yeah. It's great colour.
It's got a little bit of a Paul Gallucci vibe about it.
Yeah. I think he's referenced a lot of it.
I'm assuming we all knew who I was talking about, so that's good enough. I don't know.
I always pronounce Paul Gallucci. Oh,
I'm a Gallucci man.
Yeah. I'm probably wrong though.
This one I've just thrown in because it was by me years and years ago.
I remember that. I remember you showing me that one, John.
Yeah. And as you can see, the eye's technically on the wrong eye, but that was the original place where the eye went. So
well, he's looking in a mirror. You could say he's looking in a mirror.
And that may well be the first finished drawing of Maurice. So.
Wow. I do remember it. I mean, you say it's been around for 20 years.
That's dated 2011.
Crikey.
But yeah, in my sketchbooks, I've got black and white stuff. This is a story which is in Shift. I think it's in the new Shift.
Yeah.
It's written by the legend Mike Carey, no less.
Oh,
wow! Really?
Wow!
With colours by me, and also by Tom to an extent. He coloured some of this page, and I sort of followed his colour scheme. And I loved the way he'd used less colour. I'm really proud of the final panel with the blues and the yellows.
How'd you get Mike Carey involved, John? I take it you know him, do you?
I knew Mike before he was famous, which is rather nice. I used to go around his house and we'd brainstorm ideas and I'd draw things badly and we'd never get anywhere with them. And then he became Mike Carey.
Well, he has actually got a pen name now, hasn't he?
Now for his novels, isn't it? Mike M. Carey.
He uses MR Carey for a lot of his books.
That's
now,
it. Yeah.
So this is nice. This is drawn by Tom. So that's in a new issue of Shift. I think it's what was going to be the winter special.
Well, I've got the winter special actually, and I think there is a TECHNOFREAK story in there.
That must be it then.
Yeah, it came in the post a couple of weeks ago now, I think.
Again, it's a Maurice story. Like everyone loves Maurice. Like, wow.
you got to do a Maurice t-shirt. I'm telling you now, John, you've got to do a Maurice t-shirt.
Man. Well, that's not a bad idea. I must do that.
It's all right. I only want £1 for each one sold. You're all right.
I thought you meant which idea you gave me. And this is just a reminder to back the Indiegogo. I think that's the last slide. I might be wrong.
Great stuff.
Tom's artwork reminded me of Patrick Gleason's artwork, who's currently doing The Amazing Spider-Man. It's got that vibe about it.
Well, I think Tom submitted some stuff to Marvel recently, so that's nice. I hope he gets in, then he can get me in as a colorist as well.
I like the way you think, John.
But I like the variety of artwork on offer there, and I like the fact that TECHNOFREAK clearly lends himself to. I mean, we saw the Christmas Carol parody, we saw Loose Stringer's Beano parody, and the characters clearly lend themselves well. Like you said, if you can get to the point where Judge Dredd is, where you can do the serious epics alongside the jokey one-offs, you're on to a winner, aren't you?
Well, I hope so. That's the plan. Yeah. I mean, I think the name. It didn't come to me. I nicked it off a rave poster that I saw. And I just thought that is a great name for a character. I'm having it, and I kept it quiet for a long, long time. Obviously Shane knew about it at one point because we met at one of your cons in Birmingham, didn't we? I remember.
That's right, yeah.
And I may have had something there with me that was techno-freaky. I know it was a good con actually. I really enjoyed that.
Oh, I'm glad you did, mate. I'm glad you did.
I was going to say, I mean,
we're doing it again this year.
Awesome. Well, you must invite me and pay my travel expenses. What I wanted to say is there will be more TECHNOFREAK. There's stuff in development, potentially in issue 5, but also an anthology featuring other people, lots of other people. As you can see, I'm trying to bring more people in and expand the team. And
I was just going to say, are you going to give these students of yours a showcase, like a TECHNOFREAK anthology showcase? That'd be lovely to see.
That's the plan. Yeah, I mean, obviously that'll be another Kickstarter or Indiegogo, but there we are. I'm not made of money, I'm afraid.
Well, that's the way to do it, and I'll certainly be interested in backing it because especially something like that that's encouraging new artists and writers to do their own thing.
And I am encouraging them to write as well. It's almost like I'm sort of open sourcing TECHNOFREAK, but I want to keep an element of editorial control. They can't just go and take it away from me, But it's fun and it's lovely working with people. I mean, Clara, who I mentioned earlier, she did a story and she ran it past me as layouts and explained the story and wrote a proper script and everything. And I said, I like it, but I think we can improve the ending. And I made a suggestion. She rolled with it, and she was happy with my suggestion. And so, I'm an editor as well as everything else in Sunday Lunch Comics. But and I'm really enjoying it. I've worn so many hats in comics over the years.
It's great as well, isn't it? Like you say, working with people. That collaborative process. I love it when you come up with an idea, then somebody else does something to it, slightly changes it, comes back to you, you bounce off them, then somebody else, the colorist even might come in and do something that you don't expect. I just love that unpredictability, that sort of magical element of collaboration that you just don't get if you're working alone in isolation.
Yeah, well, look, you perhaps don't know, but a few years ago, me and Yelza Moore did 6 pages of TECHNOFREAK, and I drew it and she coloured it. And it just wasn't happening. And it was me. I don't know if it was laziness or whatever. I just couldn't get it together. And in the end, Tom Newell said to me in the Ember Lounge, which is the bar at Staff's Uni, he said, John, you're never going to finish your comic. And I'm like, I know. And he goes, I'll draw it for you. And I'm like, all right, then do it. And he's drawn 4 issues. So
fantastic. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Well, I honestly can't believe we're sat here discussing issue 4, because I remember getting issue 1 off the ground and struggling, you know.
Yeah, yeah. But it is a struggle, isn't it? It's to you know, to start a new comic. But you know, and then have you found though? We're on issue 4 now. Have you found that it gets easier as it goes along because you build? It
does, because I've learned things along the way, like, you know, the process in InDesign of actually putting the comic together. You know, I spoke to Rob Jones the other day about lettering, and he was very kind. I mean, what a kind man. He spent about an hour with me explaining various techniques and telling me keyboard shortcuts that I've forgotten. And
there he is, a lovely time man.
Yeah. We must have a drink sometime, Rob. I want to have a drink.
That does sound like a plan. That does sound like a plan. I'll write all the shortcuts down for you.
No, I don't want to take your job away either. I want to send you some more lettering to do.
Oh, that works for me. I'll send you some of the shortcuts.
And I might finish doing Mike's strip. I'm not sure. I might send it to you. I can be a bit lazy, unfortunately. I mean, I'm sort of bubbling with ideas for TECHNOFREAK, and there's not enough time in the day to get them done.
I don't think it's laziness, is it? It's just like lack of time sometimes. I often think of myself as lazy. You know, I you know, like, oh, Shane, you haven't done enough today. You haven't done enough today. And then you look at what you've done and you think, oh, actually, I've done a full day's work. I just don't feel that I've achieved what I wanted to achieve out of the day.
Antonio, he's a real good sounding board for me. He pointed out to me the other day that I've got a lot done, and I, you know, in a sense, I own a universe, and I can do whatever I want within that universe.
Exactly. Yeah, you have created your own.
I always, you know, when we have, even today morning, we were together working, and I always say to John, you have to keep on going, because you can do whatever you want with that universe, and I think has a big potential to do, you know, really, really, really cool stuff. He has like at least 4 characters there. They create their own comic, their own storylines, and it's, I think, what John has in his hands is really good. And people have to, you know, they should believe in it, because I believed in it when I started to read it, and when I met John, and I actually wanted to participate and give my input the best I could, and that's why I'm, you know, and I think John he has to believe in it. I think he believes in it, but I think people, as you guys said before, people have to believe in his art, have to believe in the comic, have to love the characters, and, you know, get involved. And I think the comic deserves it. John deserves it, and yeah.
Wow.
Thanks, Antonio.
You couldn't have said it better yourself, could it, John?
Yeah, and he didn't even mention Techno Girl once.
Oh no,
Techno Girl? What's this? Is this a new character?
Yes, it is a character that me and John started to create. Okay. So we ain't going to reveal a lot, are we, John?
No.
You're late now. This is a live show.
All right, she's John and Loretta's daughter.
Yes.
Wow.
So
very cool.
She's got a saying, I wasn't born yesterday, which is true, because she was only born 2 weeks earlier. She grows up very quickly.
Very quickly, yeah. Yeah.
And is this a plot point for the 4th issue, or issues after that?
It's something else that we have in development, and we haven't really got very far with it.
Okay, so it's not a big spoiler or anything like that, which is good.
No. But it's I think it's going to be really cool. I started you know, a character design, and John also started to write some scripts, and we're going to share between each other, like, you know, changing the storyline and see what we can come up with. So I think it's really cool. It has potential. Let's see, and then we can probably start an Indiegogo or Kickstarter.
You're gonna have to have multiple Kickstarter accounts at this rate, John.
Yeah, I'll have to invent some new names. I've already invented one in this lifetime. So.
Brian Boyd Grammaran, is that Grammaran?
I know Brian.
Right. You know Brian. That's good, because you can say his name then.
He used to live in Thailand, but I think he lives in Scotland now. He might confirm that for us. Brian, where do you live?
Well, he's sorry he's late. We'll let him off. He might be in another time zone. We'll let him off.
Actually, I think he lives in Wales. He was in Scotland for a while, but I think he's back in Wales now.
One of the Celtic countries.
Yeah, he moves around a lot, Brian Boyd.
Oh.
No, he's in Scotland.
So that's what Rob looks like from Linden.
Hello, Linden. I've just lettered something for the next shift for Linden. And I did perfect shot. I did perfect shot with him in shift as well. And you mentioned the shift. You know, the shift yearbook. I did most of the Simon Furman ones as well, and the Black Train. Adrian Clark, who runs it, was basically just going, "Yeah, it's just your book."
I did some colouring in that on the Barry Kitson strip.
Wicked John. That Barry Kitson one was absolute
beautiful artwork, isn't it? I think it's the pinnacle of his career, to be honest.
He's put a lot of work into
fantastic.
that. You can tell, can't you? Barry's gone for it. I might get Barry on the show actually, because I've been chatting with him online, so I might get him on to talk about that, because it is, as you say, it's some of the best work he's done. He's really put his heart and soul into it, hasn't he? Bless
it's meticulous. It's absolutely gorgeous comic art.
Yeah.
It's so consistent as well. You know, there's just doesn't put a foot wrong. Brilliant.
Aye, Scotland. There we
go.
Yeah.
So we've now going back to the 3D stuff. Are we allowed to look at this little model that Antonio showed?
Oh yeah. So this is the model already painted that you guys.
Oh, cool! Yeah.
In that 3D picture, it's a bit actually glossy, but it shouldn't. But I think it's because of the lights. But yeah, so. This is the base has like a lot of the details, the rust, and also the pavement, and there's a skull of a robot here on this side. So this is kind of not a spoiler, but it's based actually on the comic that John is now trying to publish, the number 4, and. And we have obviously the bottle here. I don't know if you guys can see it. I can try to put another light. You can see it.
Yeah.
Right there.
John Sherlock drinks a lot because the computer implanted in his head causes him pain, so he drinks a lot to stave off the pain.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what's called an allegory.
Yeah, exactly. So, and yeah, pretty much. It was really fun to sculpt it. I could show you the process, but it's John's time. But it's really fun. It was really fun. I've studied other models apart from
It's a really useful thing to have as an artist, actually, because you can sort of sit there and draw from it.
I was going to say, it's a bit of reference, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Actually, it's funny because you're saying that, because when I sculpted this and I showed it to Tom, actually Tom said, "Hey, Val, can I?" Because normally they call me Val. I can be, Johnny's the only one that calls me Antonio. But actually, Tom actually started to draw the coat like this, because I saw that. Yeah, so I changed the design a bit, and then actually Tom loved it, and they're like, "Oh, can I copy your jacket?" I'm like, "Why not? Just use it. I don't mind." And actually, I think he started to do more the jacket like this instead of but it's easier, in the comics. It's easier to do it in sculpt because you sculpted it once, and in the comics you have to do all the details
all the time. Yeah,
it's more, but
that's another example, isn't it, of collaboration, because you've gone from one media to the other, and you made that little change, and then Tom's taken that on board, and I love the way that characters and stories develop like that, from one creator to another, everyone putting their little thing into it, so I love that process. It's fantastic.
It's teamwork again, isn't it? I love it every time someone sends me something techno-freaky. It just blows my mind, because I think, I started this and now everyone else is joining in. It's really cool. So if anyone wants to do any fan art and send it to me, please do. I'm on Facebook.
Oh yeah, the call out. There you go, folks. There's a challenge for you. Send John your Techno Freak fan art.
Well, if it's really good, we'll print it. Or if it's black and white, I'll colour it if you want. Whatever.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
All for collaboration. It's fun.
And so, you've mentioned Tom, obviously, as the lead artist. Are there any other artists that we don't know about who are working with you, John?
That's a very good question. I should know the answer to that, shouldn't I? I should
John.
There you go. Lyndon's in.
Lyndon, you do very black and white stuff, don't you? As I recall, I think I've seen a lot of your stuff on Facebook. Colour it. Can Lyndon talk to us, or is he just on the chat?
He can chat to us.
Yeah, I think I've seen Lyndon's work quite a lot, and it's very powerful.
Oh, it's fantastic. I love Lyndon's stuff. Yeah. He did a lovely poster, a pin-up for us on Dead by Dawn, which was absolutely stunning. And I did some prints of it as well for awards, and people really like that. It was just his work is just astounding. I love how he does Dread. I love how he does Hellboy. You know, how he's not a superstar, I don't know. I think it's because he's got this very distinctive style, and when you've got a really distinctive style and you go all in with it, there's always going to be people in the publishing world who go, "Oh, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure if I'm going to take a chance on that."
It's not mainstream, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at someone like John Hicklinton.
Like, oh,
yeah. You know, John Hicklinton's style was so left field, unbelievable.
That's true.
It's so powerful.
Yeah. It's love or hate sometimes.
The thing is, it was nuts even by 2000 AD standards, that artwork.
Yeah. But I love that sort of stuff, you know. I mean, one of my favourite 2000 AD artists is probably Mick McMahon, you know. He's just got this unique style, and it's always changing. He's always developing. He's always pushing himself. You going before, John, you were saying about, oh, you're not happy. You're never happy with your style. You're never happy with you. Well, that's a good thing, mate, you know, because you're always pushing yourself. You're never settling. You're never resting on your laurels, are you? You know, but once an artist says, right, that's it, I'm good enough now.
It's kind of weird because I work as a colorist all the time, and I've been doing that for the last 15 years probably. And I enjoy coloring other people's work, and it doesn't frighten me for some reason. But when I come to color my own work, I'm like, it's weird, very odd.
Yeah.
Lyndon's saying to message him. I'll message you, Lyndon.
There you go.
But to basically answer your question live, anything techno-freaky, what I do like in a pin-up or something like that is for it to echo the characters in some way, like the way Tate's one's got a friendship between Maurice and Loretta. You know, there's a character called Neville in it who's a thug, and he's got 3 girlfriends because he's got 2 Loretta clones and a woman with a mask on who's German called Greta. And they all love him, but there's a real dynamic there because there's a jealousy between the 3 women.
Yeah.
So, I love
the way that people are doing business on the chat here. It's fantastic. I think we just got Lyndon a job there.
Yeah. Now we know.
It's fine by me.
That's fantastic.
It's a swap shop.
Yeah. Comic swap shop. There you go.
I've got a Superman cup I can spare.
Hey! I'll swap it for my comic mug as well. There we go.
There we go.
What have I got? I've got a Wolverine wallet.
A Wolverine wallet.
Yeah, I'm not including the money.
What's in it?
There's not a lot in it. Receipts? Do you want some old receipts?
Yeah, Disney dollars.
Venom wallet.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
wallet envy now.
I have a Speed Racer wallet, but not with me.
My 4 wallets downstairs. I've got some Marvel headphones. I don't know. But then, to be fair, these were presents.
He's got a Batman one. Got to be done.
That's nice.
I've got a Techno-Freak face mask in my trousers, but I'm not going to go and get it.
Oh, that's a cool! Wow.
They're available from Redbubble in America. Techno-Freak face masks. Protect you from COVID.
That's an actual thing, then.
Yeah, it's cool.
That people can buy.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one of the one things we've forgotten about in all our excitement, because we've dived in. For anyone who isn't conducting business underneath us, someone new to Techno-Freak, what can they expect? Not just from the back issues. What can they expect from the character? And more importantly, what can they expect if they're backing issue number 4?
Yeah, sell it, John.
Well, it's cyberpunk crossed with comedy. It is a cyberpunk comedy set 1,000 years in the future. I don't see that other companies can own the future, so we're using it as well. he's also got a time machine, so he can actually go into the past as well. So you've got an element of Doctor Who in there, which we haven't nicked at all. There are some nice looking women in it, if you like those. And the standout character, unfortunately, is that cat, Maurice. He's very sarcastic and he breaks the fourth wall in the way that Deadpool does. He's forever referring to the audience and cracking little jokes about how lousy and smelly his master is and stuff like this.
I have to ask though, John. You mentioned there's some good-looking women in it, but is there some good-looking guys as well? You know, we want.
Well, Neville's quite buff. He's a bit rough. He's a bit dangerous. He's
a bit rough,
and scars.
Rough and buff.
Yeah,
there you go.
Rough and buff.
I wouldn't mess with him, but some ladies might like that sort. I don't really know.
you know, Neville has a lot of potential. He's a character with a lot of potential. I said that to John. Mate, you have to do, you know, some side story with Neville because
I'm actually working on one. I've got a 5 or 6 pager. I never can count to 5 or 6. Yeah, it's a story which is based on something that me and my girlfriend did. We went to a jeweler's shop, and there was a queue inside the shop. And I found it so frustrating because I'm a man in a jeweler's shop where I don't even want to be anyway. And I'm stood there getting more and more frustrated. And I got a story out of it. I've got John Sherlock sending Neville to the jeweler's shop to buy a ring for Loretta. And they both used to go out with Loretta, but John's won her back now.
Yeah.
So Neville's really pissed off. And then I'll tell you the story. And then these raiders break in piggy masks with sawn-off shotguns, and Neville twats them in 2 panels, just one punch, and they're down. But it ends on a sort of, he's walking down the street with this ring, thinking this better not be an engagement ring, and it's pouring with rain. It's a bit like the old Jack Kirby shot of The Thing in the rain.
Yeah,
because he's this big lummox and he's sad, and it's a story about his character as much as anything.
Yeah.
And that's what I love is the characters. And I read a Stephen King book called On Writing, and he talks about characters. And he says your characters should create the stories.
Yeah.
So you put Neville in that situation, what does he do? He hits someone.
Right. Yeah.
He doesn't just stand there frustrated. He deals with it.
Yeah.
So it's cool. And the stories flow from the characters. And I find that amazing because, well, the end of issue 1 almost took me by surprise.
Wow.
There's a bit where Loretta runs back to Neville and she rejects him because he's now got 2 naked Loretta clones in his arms. And he's quite happy. I think it's 3 at that point, actually. Well, anyway.
3.
Yeah, it is 3. And what was I saying?
He's got yourself all messed up in the head then.
Yeah. I know. So Loretta tries to get Neville back and doesn't. He's quite satisfied with what he's got by now. So she turns to John in a sort of coquettish moment, and she's almost like doing this, and then sort of, goes for John. And then she gets back together with John. And my co-writer, Barry, has invented some backstory, which we've not told yet, that John and Loretta actually went to school together before he had all the TECHNOFREAK process done to him. And they are actually the same age, even though John looks a lot older.
Yeah.
And that's because of his TECHNOFREAK process that he's undergone. So
it's great. You created like this whole, not just the universe, but a whole history of the character as well. So you can tell stories potentially from different points in his life.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, most of the stories start with the date. It says London 3026 in most of the stories so far. Issue 4 takes place in 3029, I think.
Right.
So yes, we can go back and tell backstories, and I find that fascinating as well. We haven't created a whole history. I'm not that anal, but the room is there to do it.
I love that. I love being able to do that with characters. I mean, it's one of the things I love about the Mignola-verse, with Hellboy and everything. It's the way that they tell stories from this whole period in history. It goes right back to the sort of World War II up to modern day, and there's the stories being told throughout and previous to that as well. I think it just gives it a lot of depth, and it gives you as the creators, you can have a lot more fun because you can say, oh, we'll set this story at this point in time, and when the characters there's at this point in their development,
Absolutely, and it is such fun. And there's as Antonio pointed out to me, there's effectively a universe to consider. And the story I showed you earlier, drawn by Ian Peterson, it's got an alien in it. So TECHNOFREAK is a world of futuristicness, time machines and aliens. I mean, what else do you want, really? You know,
it's got it all.
Can I just thank Mr. Andy Luke for being lovely?
Oh, he is lovely, isn't he?
If you check the comments, he's done a link to the.
I'll put it up again so people can see it. There you go, folks. Yeah, he's a good lad. He's our
impressive.
Andy.
He did a quick search there.
Yeah. Well, we usually have Sam doing stuff like that, but he's elsewhere tonight, so we didn't have the backup. So that's my excuse anyway.
I love your interface, by the way. The way, you know, everything's blue and white and stuff. It's just really beautiful.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well, I trained as a graphic designer, and this is really smart.
Well, the idea, I mean, it's ICE, isn't it? You know, it's our brand.
Makes up for the idiot bloody hosts, doesn't it? If we look smart in the background.
Yeah, it might look slick, but it's just chaos.
It's not slick.
I think you're very good. You've put everyone at their ease, including me, which is not an easy thing to do.
That's the idea, mate. We have a lot of people on here. No, in all due respect, a lot of our guests are, over 45. You know, and some people come on and they're very nervous about coming on a live show because they've not done it before. They're not too techy, you know. And one of the things we try and do is always make people feel at ease, you know, because they can be quite nervous coming onto a show like this. I mean. Then you get other people who come on and educate you about how to run the show, you know.
Yeah.
But they're just as good. What we got here? We're going to comment. Andy, yep, nice. Oh, yeah. I don't know what that says. What's that say?
It says nice UI.
I think is he saying ice there?
Yeah, it's a sort of
UI. Yeah, user interface.
Yeah.
Oh dear me.
It's not funny if you have to explain it.
Well, I'm just.
I know. Well, sorry. I'm actually my main job is a user interface designer, so that's why I was like.
Is it really? Oh God! Well, when I've got some money, I'll give you a job. You can come and do this. So, guys, we've gone over the hour now, and it always does go very quick.
It always goes over the hour.
Yeah, because we enjoy
it. Apprentice penultimate episode on BBC One. So all of our viewers have gone to watch The Apprentice, I imagine.
Probably. Yeah.
Apparently, there's a football match on as well.
No, that was last night. Liverpool versus Arsenal. That's the only match that counts.
It's St. Patrick's Day, so
of course, so everyone's in the pub.
Yes, today's St. Patrick's, isn't it?
Yeah. I have actually drunk some Guinness today.
Well done.
So yeah, I felt I should do.
Yeah.
But so for all of those who celebrate St. Patrick's, I know there are many out there. You know, I hope you had a great St. Patrick's Day. So
can we have a final word from Mike? Because I think he's allowed to announce what he's working on now.
Go for it. I was just going to say, I was going to go through everyone and say, what are you guys working on? So we will start with Mike. What are you working on, Mike?
All right. So I've been working on a comic for the last year, but the guy made me sign an NDA, so I couldn't talk about it. I couldn't post it anywhere. And it drove me absolutely insane that I couldn't post it anywhere because I was like, this is really good. I want to show everyone, but I couldn't. Anyway, as of Tuesday, I'm allowed to talk about it. So it's called Hammer and Tongs. It's a supernatural sort of crime thriller kind of thing. I'm actually working on the page for it now. That's why I've got my head down because I'm behind, as always. But yeah, so it's just this like gritty crime thriller thing, and he always surprises me, the writer, because I think I know what it's about, and then he'll send me a script, and I'm like, wait, what? Are you joking? This is not what I expected. This is very weird. Like
that's a good sign, mate, because it's if you're surprised by it, hopefully the readers will be as well. Yeah.
Well, yeah. There was one because he sends me like he calls it a thumbnail sketch. So he doesn't do the thumbnails for each panel, but he will send me like a pagination with what happens on each page. And there was one page where it was it's not really a spoiler. It literally just said this character is tripping balls, and that was the entire description. And I was just like, this is going to be a fun one.
Well, just leave a little bit of it to you there.
Well, he did, and I ended up. I had to look at Doctor Strange a lot for that, just for the trippiness and weirdness. I looked at a lot of like Steve Ditko, Doctor Strange, because he went a bit weird with that. But yeah, so it's really cool. I don't know when it'll be out because we're sending it off to publishers. Hopefully next week, week after, something like that.
Right. So you've got a publisher lined up for it then?
No, we're just sending it off to anyone that'll have it. Right. I've got 6 issues in the can.
Wow.
Right.
Well, I'm on the 6th one now. So I counted the other day. I've done 145 pages, including covers.
Wow.
And no one's bloody seen it.
Well, I'm sure it'll get snapped up. Yeah.
So.
But any publishers out there watching, if you're interested in a crime supernatural thriller, there you go. Mike's your man. Get in touch. We'll have to get really you on the show. We'll have to get you on the show to do a plug of it, mate.
When I know more about what's happening, I'll let you know.
That'd be great. We'd love to do that. That's what we're all about, is bringing attention to bringing these works that people might not have seen before. We do interview people who are well known. We do have some big names, but we also really like to shine the spotlight on new talent and people who might not have, the notoriety of some of the other guys. It's important to do that, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
So, thank you for that. Now, Rob, I saw you last.
What aren't you working on, Rob? That'd be easy to say.
Yeah. What aren't you working on? You've probably taken on 9 projects since last week, anyway, haven't you?
Actually, you joke, but I think I have. I literally after last Thursday, I got messaged. I'm doing something for B7 Media, who do a lot of audio plays and things like that. They're doing I'm doing the lettering they're doing a Tony Hancock biography, like big 276-page monster. Tony Hancock graphic novel. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm 100 and something pages through thus far. And honestly, I don't have much knowledge about Tony Hancock. I don't really know. I know I've got a kind of passing that like Hancock's Half Hour. I know about that and things like that. You know what I mean? But the way that I think it's Keith Page who's the artist on it. I think, and the way that they're using the medium to tell the story, because to break the fourth wall, you've got like Tony Hancock kind of. I don't know how much I can say actually. I might get a message in a bit of gun sight. But the way they use the medium to do it is fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant. I've just finished the next episode of a thing called Metropolis, which is done through Andy Lanning's Ideas and Inks company that he's got. Gary Erskine's doing the artwork for that. Oh, sorry, it's Andy Lanning and Ant Williams production company, Ideas and Inks, and that's a motion comic. Like I say, Gary Erskine's doing the art for that. Bloody hell, what else have I been working on? Today I've just finished Matt Hardy's Vehicle 4 for Marcosia. That's done. The Deadliner as well by Dave Cook and Donna Black, that I've just finished as well today, which is like, it's on Kickstarter at the moment. It's an existential horror story about the pressures we put on ourselves with regards to being creatives and deadlines. It's absolutely brilliant book.
I need to look at that. And Dave's a great writer. I really like what Dave does.
Yeah, like I said, that's funded on Kickstarter at the minute. Obviously, I would like to do more TECHNOFREAK, so everybody should come back to the Indiegogo campaign. You know what I mean? I would like to do more Headrec as well, so should all go and back the Headrec Kickstarter campaign as well.
He knows his job.
You know what I mean? I genuinely have taken on at least 9 since last Thursday. You know what I mean? Because as a letterer, you got to keep moving. You got to keep moving as a letterer. You know what I mean? Like, it's my job
like a
now.
Shark. Keep swimming or you sink.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's it though. And I do get antsy if I have a day where I have very little on. I'm kind of sat there going, oh no, it's all good. The house of cards is going to fall over. You know what I mean? And stuff. Everyone's going to find out I'm a fraud. So no, it can be like that. So yeah. No, working on lots of stuff, and also got my finger got my finger in the pie of some writing. I've told you about it, Shane.
Yes,
stuff that we're planning on like crowdfunding that in April, May time. Fund a child, Yeah, that should be an interesting one, all based around the War of the Worlds, but following the crew of the ironclad Thunderchild ship and stuff. So that's gonna be really good, kind of a treatise on empire and things like that. And there's also going to be great big fucking Martian tripods that are going to get the ship blasted out of them by ironclad warships. You know what I mean? So that should be fun. Yeah, lots of things.
Great. And we've got a comment from Lyndon. Rob has got my next strip for Shift Memory too.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Crack the whip.
And then a random from Andy Luke, which I don't know what's in response to be honest.
More like a exciting.
Or is it a ooh?
Not an ooh. You cheeky
Patrick Bateman. Ooh. You know what I mean?
You could put your own sound to that one, can't you? Ooh. Do it in like Kenneth Williams style or something. And last but not least, Antonio or Val, as you like.
Well, Val looks like he's already working on something.
Yeah, he's working on something.
I am. I'm working actually at the moment on 3 comic books. So one of them actually is for a group. To Brazil. It's for a group of fans of Star Wars. Right. So we are creating a comic book, a 50-page comic book.
Don't tell Disney. Don't tell Disney.
No. We want them to know. We want them to know. Actually, so it's like it's a project. It's in Portuguese, but the title is the Curse of Dathomir. So it's passed in the planet of Dathomir. I can actually share a bit of, if you guys want to or not.
Oh yeah,
sure. Well, we're here.
I think I've heard of Star Wars.
Yeah.
So, let me see. Share my screen. So this is one of the pages I'm inking. The art is mine too. So yeah. So this is the second page, and this is past. So it's a tribe. Like type of Indians. Is there? They have like the pointy ears, like as you can see. Are you guys seeing it now?
Yeah. It's on the screen.
Yeah. So she's she's magical. It's like, I don't want to, but you can follow them on Instagram. But it's the curse. It's in Portuguese, like maldição of Dathomir. I think you can also search in English. So we are doing this without any profit. So, and also I can share the other pencil pages. So this is the first page. I can share this because we already shared online. Also another. So this is the first page. These are actually wall paintings from prehistoric.
Yeah, I love that style.
Yeah, they are telling a story. This is already painted, colored, but I can't show those. But yeah. And this is this page that you guys are seeing. I'm inking. This is the pencils, and also the third page. Yeah, I gave them a lot of trouble. Those trees, because those trees we have a concept art that we did for, and this is the third page. So she's being kidnapped, but then there's a mage that is on the other side of the lake, and then actually the water ends up swallowing the warriors and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And this is one of the projects, and then this part of the story is like quite civilization that is still like an Indian mode, or like quite primer.
Pre-industrial, shall we say?
Yeah, pre-industrial. Yeah, if you can, and then things will happen. So it's two arch that we're going to. I'm just drawing this one. It's the Arch of Pladia, and there's the Arch of the Pirates that is going to be like more with the Wookiees and the other specimens of Star Wars. But I'm not drawing that part. This part actually is quite difficult because it's quite. I've been doing, me and a friend of mine's like a lot of concepts and character design and stuff. And then I have another story that I'm doing that I can show you, but this one is quite, do I have it? I have it. So this one is it's a story that we actually we are going to propose to a Portuguese publisher. It's called Short Fuse. Yeah, I'm trying to do probably a Kickstarter for the English version because they don't publish otherwise. This publisher doesn't want to publish in English, so they want to just to target the Portuguese speaking.
What's
countries.
what's the Portuguese speaking sort of market like? Val, is it a big market?
Brazil is huge, man.
Yeah,
Brazil is like so the market in Portugal is quite interesting. But for example, it's totally different from Brazil. Brazil, they only have Portuguese comics.
Right? Yeah.
They don't have like American. They have American, but are translated to Portuguese. In Portugal, it's totally different. A lot of people, we speak more than one language, normally Portuguese and English or French. Yeah. So, and as like me, I don't like the comics. For example, I like to have the originals. So if you go to a comic book store, you don't have the comics like American comics or even 2000 AD translated at all. Okay.
Right.
If the publishers they have if their own comics or their own albums, as we call it, part cover. So they will be published in Portuguese, of course, but then they have to have contracts with Dark Horse or other publishers to publish in English. They will not publish. So, but it's a quite good market. Of course, Brazil can't compare because just São Paulo city has more population than Portugal. So altogether, but they are massive. They in for example, in countries like Africa, it's more difficult. The majority of the countries are Africa or Macau. Macau, it's easier because Macau they still speak Portuguese. But Brazil and Portugal are the main markets basically.
Yeah.
Well, so let me just continue with this. So this story is about our Celtic culture. Because Portugal is a Celtic country. A lot of people don't know that. It's not Arabic or Spanish or whatever. It's a Latin because Romans killed our language.
Yeah.
So, it's about the Lusitanians. It's our tribe. So the Celt tribe that. So this is called Guerra Fera. It's like a fierce war that we gave to Romans, and it's everybody talks about Asterix and Obelix, but people don't know that actually there's another country in Europe that has a Celtic heritage and has the pipes and everything. But it's not only Scotland So it's pretty cool. So this is another story that we're doing. Hopefully that we can print it out. Let's see. The other story I can't show you guys because it's going to show up on the 77. So,
right, yeah. Well, I'll get Ben on here one time again, and we'll get him to show it later on. But I'm really interested.
Better talk to Ben and Steve Paul.
We'll get those guys on again. I'm sure we like to give the 77 a plug every now and again.
I'm working with John actually on that story, and Paul Neal. He's a writer, and John is a colorist, and I'm the artist, the main artist. Yeah.
Cool.
I love what the 77 are doing, to be honest. They're it's very fresh and
they're doing a great job. They're doing a great job. They're highlighting new talent as well as established people. There's a lot of new talent coming in on there. There's lots of different styles. It's really exciting. It's good to see it succeeding because it makes us all realize comics are not dead. Do you know what I mean? They're just changing, and the way they're being sold is changing, and sometimes the way they're being presented is changing. But the medium itself, the art form, people still love it, and there's a hunger for it, and that's great. Right, guys, I've done my little soapbox bit. So we've gone well over the hour now, but we've had a really good time, and I've had a great time. I hope you guys have enjoyed.
Really enjoyed it. Thank you, Shane. Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you so much, each and every one of you, for coming on. It's been great to talk to you and find out a little bit more about what you're doing. All the best with TECHNOFREAK. I hope the campaign goes well. It looks like it's doing all right, and obviously we hope that this helps. So have yourselves a fantastic evening, and all the best.
Cheers, Shane. Thank you so much for having us on.
For you too.
Really excellent presentation and fun. I loved it.
And we've been spoiled with the amount of different artwork we've seen as well.
We have.
Thanks for all sharing, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Okay.